So, greetings, people. Good turnout today. So, thank you so much for tuning in for this new session of ProAiir University. I'm your substitute teacher today. Um, Last minute substitute teacher. So hopefully we can continue with learning on airbrushing and just pretty much how to airbrush in general. Right now, we've actually had a really good lineup. Thank you so much, Donna, for that, and all the artists that took their time to impart their knowledge. Little tips and trips and stuff like tips and tricks rather to enhance our abilities. Definitely. I myself go back and watch these videos multiple times. Especially for let's say like Alex Hansen, the wolf video is really cool as well. Even like some videos that don't particularly apply to me, I watch them. It's just good to kind of get a good knowledge base, and I think that's pardon me, and I think that's what we're trying to do here. We just I find that the airbrush community as a whole, especially the body painting community as a whole, are very close to each other, and really, we don't really keep secrets from everybody. I think what it is that when we have certain techniques to show, people appreciate that. And a lot of the times, you get into this mind space that, oh, I don't want to like get out my secrets there and everybody's going to know about it. I mean, you know what? They're going to know sooner or later, and might as well learn it the right way and learn it how you do it. A lot of the times when you teach people how to, especially when you teach people your techniques and stuff, that's my compressor, pardon me, you find that you're better off doing that because you exchange ideas, you modify those processes, and then you're a better artist for it, and everybody's a better artist for it. And then that's what you're doing, is that you're elevating the art form. That's why I totally appreciate the other artists coming on to Donna's forum, the ProAiir University, and thank you again, Donna, for having a hub for us to pretty much like stay boredom, be productive, and then just be. The thing is that it should be an artist. A lot of the times, when we're, as artists, we just want to create, and like we get paid for it. I'm like, heck yeah, it'll be awesome. But now, with what's happening at the moment, we're stuck in our own space. What do? You be productive. You learn new things. That's why this hub is really good for learning. I myself have learned a lot of things within like the video series, and I've also gone to the way of learning new things, like editing videos. And just take this time to be a little bit more productive. But anyways, enough of that. So what we're doing today is we're doing airbrush lettering. So the thing is that a lot of people don't know that again, my name is Sig Abrin. I'm a body painter, just transitioned to body painting. Before body painting, I discovered an airbrush, and I used to paint shirts. So I used to make shirts for Not Spray Farm, so the basics apply. I don't know. If you've anybody who's watched the My Airbrush Boot Camp, I teach the basics. I teach the drills, and these translate to across the board. It translates from body painting to shirt painting to automotive murals. So and I think that Jose Art is doing them. He's painting on windows. So. It's a good segue. Every time you pick up an airbrush, you just keep at it, and then you could just find your own. You can find your own avenue, your own specialty. Like I said, I used to paint shirts for Not Spray Farm. We used to do this being the summer all the way to Halloween and winter. So you have different types of designs, as well as like stencil designs and freehand designs. A lot of the times, I always kind of stress on handling an airbrush freehand. What that does, it just basically sharpens out your skills, and then it makes you faster. And at the same time, you adapt stencils later on, and stencils help you put out a design a lot quicker. It's one of those things where you have different types of design elements, like a script or a block lettering, and then you add some flourishes into it, so throw in some color in there, and if you want a stencil design, you can do that one as well. And so you could crank out a design quick and fast. Most of the time, you want to keep, especially for airbrush lettering, specifically for t-shirt airbrushing, you want to keep your design like anywhere from like 2 to 5 minutes, 10 minutes if it's a custom design. But especially in a fair setting, like a state fair or a theme park setting, grad night or something, you want to keep your designs quick. You do the name, do the letters, and just crank them out as much as possible. Most of the time, I mean, for fairs, you're paid by the shirt, by the name, if that, by the design, how complex the design is. Also, but with like bar mitzvahs or bat mitzvahs, which are like events, corporate events and stuff, you can incorporate some. I mean, if the event is thematic, you can incorporate some stencils to it, so it's quicker. Get a set color palette. I mean, if it's a black light paint, if it's a black light event, UV colors. You don't have to like toy around with any of like the multiple colors and stuff. So you kind of build the suit to where the event is and what the event is about. And then from there you can expand your repertoire. A lot of the times, I mean, it's like, well, we're body painters. With everything that's happening now, I mean, what's our avenue right now? And this is exactly what's available to kind of show you exactly what's available when you're dealing with this type of economic climate where you can you can have your skills and be more diverse. So that's what I mean. That's where we're at right now. So we gotta adapt. Alex Hansen, freehand is important. Knowing to draw is a bigger part of it. Definitely. You, like everything, you have to practice. You got to get some trigger time in there. I mean, it's not just like handling an airbrush. You got to draw as well. Free time, sketch a little bit. A lot of the times, we kind of tend to get our skills off of the wayside, so definitely you want to practice every chance you get. Okay, let's see here. So I've moved my setup from a body painting setup to a t-shirt painting setup. Since we are dealing with lettering here, so it's a lot better to go for a t-shirt setup. I'm still using my Iwata double action internal mix bottom feed gun this time. Excuse me. The reason for that is just because for shirts or for lettering, you want to go for quick changing. So what I usually do is I usually have these colors, wicked colors, and what I do is that instead of pouring it into like the bottles and stuff, I actually have these tops that you can just, Donna sells these. I also work at Coast Airbrush. We also sell these as well. They're called fast blast caps. And what you do is that instead of actually pouring in or decanting your bottle, you can just like measure it, cut it, and now you have a bottle. So that's what you're left with. That's what you're left working with. So you can actually have multiple bottles, sorry, multiple size bottles, like the 4 ounce, you know, and the 2 ounce, and then just room for your cleaner as well. Kind of dirty right now, see, but I just backflash. But, and so now you have multiple colors. So with that, a lot of the times, you know, when people have like their airbrush setup, they don't, I mean, it's like, well, you know what, why would I want to get multiple brush setup? Well, when you're first starting out, definitely you don't really want the full airbrush setup, you know, like a full gun setup, which is like 1, 2, or 6 or 12 guns or something, one for every color. Eventually, that's what you want to go. If this is what you want to do, definitely. So you wanna build up through it. But a lot of the times when I first started, I only actually started with one gun, Pache VL, monster of a gun, very low cost, you know, easy. I mean, it's a very robust gun. And then I moved on from a Pache to a Vega to an Iwata Eclipse. So I've used multiple guns. I mean, of course, I have more inclination to use the Iwata Eclipse because I like how it handles, you know, and we at Coast Airbrush, this is actually one of our best-selling guns. I actually buy these guns myself. They're not given to me, so, you know, when say it's like a sponsored, it's just I've been using the gun since early 90s, you know, so that's when I just started using the gun, and then moved on to like the Eclipse CS, which is a gravity feed gun for body painting. So anyways, so what we're doing is now we go for let's see here. So I guess we start. All right. So if you watch my last video, we did a lot of practice strokes, right? And what that is like now, it's more evidence, more self-evident of what you're doing right now, since you'll see it more how it translates to through airbrushing, right? Especially for shirts. So. Let's see here. So I always do my practice strokes first. It's kind of warm up, you know. So what are you doing? Again, I know it sounds a little bit redundant. So just do a little bit of warm up strokes a little bit. Let me just kind of increase my pressure here. Okay, see, that's a little. Okay. There we go. So, like everything, what you're doing is like you're flexing your muscle. So what you're doing is you're warming up. Oh, pardon me. So let's see here. All right. Let me move this real quick. Hold on, okay? Excuse me, people. I know, sorry. Everything here. Okay, let me. Sorry. Yeah, I just realized that you guys can't see. This is all right. Let's see here. Let's see here. There we go. Let me actually, you know what? Bear with me for a sec. Let me just move something real quick, okay? Sorry again. I had it all set up for my gimbal, and for some reason it did no working. So I have to do some last minute changes here. Pardon me. I know. All right. looks. Paint from the side. All right, let's see here. All right, let me see here. All right, I'm moving around. I know, right? I did my practice strokes yesterday as well. Aha. Okay. Are we good? We good? All right. Very cool. All right. Paint from the side. Okay. I know it looks kind of weird because it's off of. Okay. So again, we're with. If you refer back to my my video with my previous video rather. So what we're doing right now is we're just warming up. Okay. So what that does, it just loosens you up just a little bit, flexes your muscle. You know. Okay. All right. So again, we're just warming up, okay? All right, so now once we warmed up, ready to go, okay? So, so your most common, really, as far as lettering is concerned, you have, especially for shirt airbrushing, you're doing multiple things. You're basically doing script, stylized, block, bubble. Of course, you go into like Old English, grunge, and of course like the graffiti. A lot of the times, especially when you're airbrushing, you'll see people who do like freehand, and those guys are awesome because they've been doing it like day in and day out. I always say that when we used to paint at Knott's Berry Farm, it's our boot camp. It's the trenches because you're doing it, you're painting it like 6-8 hours at a time. Definitely after that, your trigger dexterity is on point. And of course, with now, with what I'm doing is that, you know, of course, you can't really, you can't really compare it to that. So we'll do our best here. So first we do script, all right? A lot of the times when you do script, you can freehand it. I always recommend draw it out first. If you have horrible handwriting, look at different scripts, look at different styles. Personally, I have horrible handwriting, so you practice. You know, you practice with your flow. You find a style, you find a flow, you find how you hold the gun as well, how comfortable it is. So, pardon me. All right, let's see here. Do you use two hands once you're studying? Yes, I do. I use two hands. It's how I've been using the airbrush for the longest time. So it's two hands. So what I do is like I cup it this way. You know, it makes it more stable. So when I'm moving especially when I move, I actually move my whole body, not just my arms as well. it just makes it a much more dynamic movement. It's more steady for me, especially when you clip your arms to your elbows to your body. Createx clogs up a lot. Any suggestions? It seems very thick. Clogging is relative to how you handle the gun, but it's also temperature set. It's not so much as temperature sensitive, but it's also how you handle the gun and how you handle the paint. A lot of the times when it clogs a lot, you want to, especially for this type, I actually use a different compressor, not my body painting compressor, so it's a higher PSI or higher pressure. For different guns, you have different pressures, optimal pressures rather. For Apache VLs, you want to bump up the pressure just a tad bit because the valve is a little bit bigger for that, or the barrel is a little bit bigger, so you're doing it anywhere from about 40, 45. When I used to paint shirts and not spray farm, it's actually bumped up to 55 or 60. You know, just blast the shirts and stuff. But with the Iwata's usually about 20. It ranges from about 20 for body painting and then 45 for regular Createx. Definitely you want to go for something smaller, because for smaller bottles you don't require a high enough pressure to actually siphon out the paint and atomize it. A lot of the times when you use, plus at the same time, if you're using it for shirts anyways, not unless that you're doing it 8 hours a day, you don't really need a 4-ounce bottle, you know. Plus it'll weigh you down. So get a 2-ounce bottle, much more comfortable for you. Just reload accordingly. Just reload intermittently, and you should be fine. Show the art, cool. So definitely looking forward to his tutorial, or to his video coming up. So Madeline, hi. So, and again, with everything I go by feel. So we start with script. Usually you do a line. I always do a line. All right, and then you do lightly fade it, and then you go. So what I'm doing is that, like, whatever that you're learning, and when you're practicing, the okay, cool. So that's your darn it. Sorry, I'm covering myself. There you go, this side. This side. All right. So that's your script. Sorry, like, it's weird. I can't really. It's shading on the right side. Good suggestion. So let's put it on the right side, because actually, let's do this. Since people always want to go over my shoulder, we'll do the shoulder thing. I know. Sorry. I do apologize for this, guys. Carefully set this up earlier. All right. Let me guess here. Okay. Okay, now we're cooking. Cool. Good suggestion on the right side there. All right. Yeah. All right. Good. Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right. Hey, look at that. Go team. All right. Let's do that again, shall we? All right. Okay. Let's try this. Let's add that one real quick. Hey guys. All right. So everybody's watching, so that's good. All right. So, hi Gina.
Hi.
Missed you. And okay, let's see here. All right, let's try this again, shall we? Hopefully people can see it. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just getting lines out. Okay, you can draw it out. So pretty much all the exercises that I showed you the last time, it applies to everything that I do as far as the, as far as lettering is concerned. What you can do is that you can actually do thick to thin in one stroke, but also at the same time you can go and boost out the letters, you know, highlight them a little bit more, you know, and you can accent more of the thick to thin in one stroke. Ideally, you want to do that, but more often than not, people tend to go back and just kind of get the base down. And what you can do as well is pardon me, let's go just real quick. There we go. What I do is see how I'm just moving my back and forth. Right? So from there, what I could do as well is I can take get a little splatter in there. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. And from there, I'll clean up my gun really quick. It's all about the combination of the color. cast shadows in there. Short of my white here. Let's see here. Let me get my white out. It's definitely. Pardon me here. Right. So what I'm doing right now, sorry about the delay there, forgot to get my white. So cut that. Bloop. Okay, so now I have my white. Cleaning out my gun. Let's see here. Do you change your PSI while drawing the word? No. I actually keep my. Thank you for that question, Terry. But no, I actually keep my pressure at constant. So usually with this thing, it's about 45 psi. Usually have it set, or I just kind of go by the feel of it, and just work with it. A lot of the times you want to keep your working pressure anywhere between 35 to 45, depending really on what gun you have. Like I said, when I used to have a Apache VL, I bumped it up to 55, just because that, number one, we were outdoors and the paint dries really quick, so you want to push that paint really quick, really fast. Heat setting as well. Usually for heat setting, a lot of the times you can heat set it. I usually tell people when you're heat setting a fabric, it's actually on high, no steam. A lot of the times you can put like parchment over it, and then you can just iron it on high, no steam. At Coast Airbrush, we also have a product that we sell. It's called Safety, and what it is, it's a protective spray. It's a protective lacquer spray, and it's washable, so it'll make your colors light fast. I believe I have a can here somewhere. Let me see what I have here. I don't know way over here. Pardon me. Yeah. So this is what we usually use at Coast Airbrush. It's called Safety. So you can use this for fabrics. You can also use it for vinyl. You can use it for canvases as well. What's the rage right now is that when people are painting on shoes, perfect on shoes, as long as you clean, you prep the surface really well. Especially if it's vinyl, you do a vinyl prep for that, and then put a coat of Safety on top of it. You're golden. They actually have at Coast Airbrush, we also sell a product called Liquid Kicks, and it's they come in different finishes. So it comes with a factory finish, a gloss finish, a matte finish, and a satin finish. So you can go ahead and check that out as well. Do you change your piece? Okay, so here I go. Let's see here. What are the most requested? Font style? People are drawn to script, so definitely practice your script a lot. But also, people are also drawn to like flourishes as well. So what you can do is that you can actually have a script, and you can just like, you can actually kind of jazz it up just a tad bit if you want to. A lot of the times if you have just like regular script, especially if you're not busy, what you can do is that you can practice with your strokes, you know, and then you can just like jazz it up. So you can have it more, you could be more dynamic, definitely. Especially with fonts, as long as you have a good collection of fonts, you could go on over online and look at like different fonts, different airbrush fonts. They kind of, you know, put your own spin to it. Definitely, that's the way to do it. So now we do my highlighting. And then you can do the stars as well. You know, like, you know, starburst in there. And all these strokes pretty much are like just basically reminiscent of like the dagger strokes. You're going from thick to thin in one strokes, and how you move as well, especially when you're doing your lettering. You want to have a good layout, so you can section it off. You can draw it out as well. I mean, I suggest a lot of people, especially if you're starting out, draw it out. You know, I mean, I mean, especially if you're dealing with fonts, definitely you want to draw it out, and also at the same time that actually improves your hand-eye coordination. And the more you use it, definitely the more you get used to it, the better you are, and then you're not going to be as you know, you're not going to draw it out as much, and then you'll be faster. So just incrementally, definitely. What's the name of the product for the shoes? It's called Liquid Kicks. They come in 1 ounce bottles, and they come in different sizes, actually finishes rather. It's a matte, gloss, satin, and a factory finish. A lot of the times, especially for shoes, people like that factory finish, you know. Then they want to keep that, especially for like the new, like the Vans. They want to have like if it's on vinyl, they want to have that nice feel to it. So Vans usually want to have that factory finish. A lot of the times when people paint Air Force Ones, Nike Air Force Ones, definitely you want to have that factory finish as well. What do you use to clean your airbrush? Ideally what you want to do is that when you're cleaning out your airbrush, use the cleaner that's for specifically that gun or that paint. If I use Createx, I use the 4012 reducer. It's a reducer, but I also doubles as a cleaner. I like using these because the fact that you're not spending on a cleaner, and you're not spending on a reducer. So that's just basically in one. Because Createx makes a reducer, which is the 4012 reducer, which I love because you can use a whole variety. Pretty much, you can use it with like your regular Createx, or you can use it with your Wicked line. You can also use it with their ProAiir line. The ProAiir is their it's their line for non-porous surfaces like Lexan car bodies and stuff, and even automotive surfaces. I actually have one coworker, Tom. Shout out to Tom. He painted his entire truck with all water-based, with all Createx, and people's like, "Oh, you can do that?" Yes, the technology has advanced that far that you can actually do a complete vehicle, provided that you use the right paint for it. Definitely. A lot of the times people tend to use Windex. I caution people with Windex. The reason for that is just because that the Windex has ammonia in it, and what happens sometimes with the ammonia, it corrodes the chrome of the gun itself. So what you're doing is that a lot of the times people tend to use it because it's inexpensive. Definitely use it if you need to use it. However, if you're using Windex, make sure to flush it out with water immediately. You know, because again, Windex corrodes like the chrome. And what happens now is that if it corrodes the chrome in your gun, it's harder to clean, especially the inside of it. If you have a gravity feed gun that has the bowl in it and you leave the Windex in it, it tarnishes it. Now you're left with the brass piece or the brass gun, because the guns are made out of brass. Now it's harder to clean. So a little caution on that, definitely. You know, so you want to definitely. I always tell people you want to use this the certain clean. As a general rule, if you use a certain brand of paint, then they most likely have a certain brand of cleaner. They also have a general purpose cleaner, which is an acrylic cleaner, which you can use. A lot of the times, you have different types of paint companies or paint manufacturer that offers like different cleaning. They have different cleaners for that. So that's one little tidbit on that. So that's your script. Okay. Oh, hello. All right. So that's what we have. The thing is as well is that if you're doing airbrush lettering, you don't. The good thing about it is that you don't have to have this wide array of colors, especially if you're doing shirts. The brighter the colors, the better. Fluorescents work really well. You know, opaque colors work really well. Transparents a little bit sometimes, especially when you're doing your blending and stuff like that. But definitely, if you're doing shirts, if you're doing lettering, you want it. The bold colors usually attracts the eye, especially if you're doing script or graffiti as well, because it does kind of tend to your eye kind of tends to gravitate towards the towards color. So what we can do is like now we can have, so now the script is done. Cool. All right. You guys have any questions? T-shirts, cotton or 50-50. Either one works really well. Definitely, I lean more towards like the 50-50. The 50-50, because the reason for that is just because that a lot of times with cotton it has some matte to it. So and a lot of the times if you have tons of overspray, you'll kind of catch, like the nap is gonna catch the color, and it's going to be it's gonna give you some fuzzies into it. You know, a lot of times it's very unsightly. And now what you do is that you have to iron it down. You have to put like a transparent medium on top of it, and then iron it down to kind of get that nap down. You know, so definitely the 50-50 is definitely a lot better. Because it holds up the color a lot, so much better. And then at the same time, as far as when you're, I know, sorry, you see my water tank there. So 50-50, definitely. That's my preference. And also when you're washing it, it's usually you wash it on cold, no heat, definitely, and line dry. A lot of the times, if you, like I said, you can also put safety on top of it, or any protecting clear on top of it as well. Works really well. Let's see here. Lycra, definitely Lycra is like are the best and ideal for bodysuits, definitely, because it holds the line really well, and it can, you're not really oversaturating the surface with paint. So that's a good suggestion, Mr. Hansen, Mr. Alex Hansen. Another style, that's what I'm going for. So we can go for, so now once we have, sorry. All right. So we're done with the script. We can also, your most common as well would be your block lettering. The block lettering is that a lot of the times people like this because it's like bold colors. So what you can do is that now what you're doing is that you're filling it with color. So if you're doing block lettering, again, you know, I'm just fogging it in. can see me? Okay, good. I think I'm out of quick. Okay. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of getting a shadow. Okay, so you could go black and then color it out. You can start doing that. What I normally do is like I usually do the color and then block it out later on. So we'll try both. How's that? We can do green. Let's see here. Yellow. Okay. We'll do pardon me real quick. Let me just clean up my gun real quick here. Okay. Just do, hold on, okay. Just switch out my guns real quick. No Createx on the body, definitely. Don't really want to do that. Before, because even now, Createx actually modified their formula in their paint to do they use a little alcohol. Well, it's not a little alcohol. Actually, they use oxybutyl alcohol, which is a little irritating, you know, when it comes to the body. So, plus, like you said, it cracks, definitely. If you guard, I mean, when you're using Createx, non-porous surface, porous surface is great. The right paint for the right surface, for the right application. That's what you. That's the general rule. Okay. How about we do this? Okay. Let's see here. So. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of blocking out the colors, you know, going from, I'm still using my same strokes, from thick to thin in one stroke, like the thick to thin, okay? But what I'm doing is like I want to make that transition of color. Definitely, Pinterest is the way to go as far as about a reference. You can block out the colors really well with these. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going down. I'm just blending in the colors in there. All right. So now, once I have that done, go back to my black. Going old school here, so I'm going to go. Let's see here. I'm cleaning out my gun really quick. I thought I had access to multiple airbrushes here, but apparently not. Okay, and then from there, shade it in. White. Donna, nice to see your body travel with your eyes. Yeah, this is this. So when people see me paint, especially on my videos, I usually move my whole body. This is where it came from. It came from actually painting on shirts. Highlight here. People love the starburst. See? One right there. So everything that I do as far as my strokes are concerned, there's still rat tails. There's still like the thin strokes, but shorter, but shorter. Sometimes even longer. So you also, that's why I always stress the importance of those exercises that I have, that I basically teach. You know, so that you can also, you know, and then from there you can just do, like, especially when you're dealing with color, you can add, you just have fun with the color, you know. Get some flourishes in there. Thank you so much, Elaine. Let's see here. Do you paint or do darker color shirts? Hang out with haunted house people and they always want black shirts. Definitely, you could do black shirts. A lot of the times, if you're doing black shirts, do a white base on it and then put a color on top of it. So you're just painting, technically you're basically painting in reverse. But more often than not, what you can do is that you can paint on black shirts. You could do it's actually, to me, it's easier to paint on black shirts because what you do is that you just take the highlights, where the highlights are, and then just kind of render them and then go in with color. So actually you're not spending a lot of time. A lot of the times people want to have a colored text over black, which is fine. But if you put like the highlighting text over black and then splash it with a little bit of color, the eye just kind of does the work for you. You'll find that in a perfect example on that, which is like let's say like a black and white film like Sin City. Sin City it's kind of a stylized rendered black and white, but you're just only seeing the highlights. So you can do that one as well. T-Rex dance moves, definitely. I gotta let my claw. Yeah, that'll be like our next celebration move, like when we see each other. So now you've actually add again like bigger, bolder colors as well. You can do that. A lot of the times you also tend to add a little bit more things in there, like flourishes again, or black. Here's another, like, one exception to the rule. A lot of times when you're using black, use black when you're dealing with lettering. That's the main rule of it, because it kind of punches out your design even better. Don't be afraid to use black. A lot of the times, if you're using black as well, it kind of like highlights the color. Also, you can do multiple things where you can add these. Actually, Donna has a perfect product for this. They're spatter caps. The best thing ever, and actually need to order more of them from you, Donna, because I've actually used them all. Actually, I've used them so much that I've worn them out. I've worn out the tips, so to speak. So let's see here. Oh yeah, and then the next artist is Prima Farton, all the way from Australia. She's a great artist. I had the pleasure of meeting her at the Bay, and that's the good thing about traveling to different conventions. You can meet more new people, you just like see what their style is, and just kind of incorporate what style that you have with their style, which is good. Like what Alex Hansen was actually had like this thing where he had a style and then people are copying his style. It's flattering, and then you see people kind of in a way grandfather you in their style, which is awesome. So it's and of course sometimes it's flattering and sometimes it's not, but you take it for what it is, definitely. Let me get this in real quick. But again, at the same time, that's just the degree of the artist and how they interpret your work. And definitely that's it's kind of a hot button topic sometimes when people are like, oh, well, you're copying this guy's style. Well, it's just because that this person is proficient with that style, that doesn't mean that he owns that style. So you can take inspiration from all these artists and then make it your own. That's pretty much the beauty of art. Okay, so these are your block letters. So you have multiple letters. You also have like the style. You also have like the stylized letters as well, which is a combination of like the block and the script. You also have the graffiti style, which I'll show you later on, and of course the Old English, which I will show you later on. Yeah, like Octopus in the Cage. I saw that video. It's so hilarious. Jay was like. I watched that at night and I was cracking up at like midnight or something. I was like, what are you laughing at? And so You know, definitely that's the way to go. So now once we, how are we with time? Let's see here. Okay. So we have the script, and then we have the block. We can go. And the good thing about with these is that, especially when you're dealing with lettering, there isn't really one style of script that works really well. You can stylize your script, you can stylize your block, you can combine both if you need to. With this is that, let's see here. Okay, we're doing the graffiti after the stylize. So you do the same thing. Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, so I think I'm out of paint. Oh, I still have paint. Okay. Let me reload on my paint. Because I was practicing last night. Because it was like a last minute request by Donna. It says, hey, do you want to do lettering? I'm like, sure. Let's go back to my roots, shall we? You know, I really need to go clean my airbrushes so I can practice. Most definitely, clean your gun. The more you spend time with your gun, the better it's clean. The less frustrated that you'll be when like later on. And a lot of times I always say that people, 90% of the people who buys an airbrush set. Oh, darn it. Okay, that doesn't work. 90% of the people who buys the airbrushes rather, they hold on. Get another one. 90% of the people who get an airbrush setup, where did that come from? Buys the setup, you know, and then handles it like once or twice, and it gets frustrated because number one, it's clogging, or they can't get it to operate right. That's why, you know, you go down to back to my first video, which is the airbrush basics, the boot camp. That will kind of give you a handle on how to get your gun going. Right. Where did the term start by calling the airbrush a gun? I don't know. I mean, good question there, Donna. And I guess I don't know. Well, okay. Let's see here. Have 47 to clean. All right. Well, Shay, clean one at a time. You have a lot of time at the moment. So. You know, what are we doing here? Oh yeah, we're doing this. Okay, hold on, my thing's acting up. Okay, let me clean out my guns. So again, when I'm cleaning up my guns, I've been airbrushing Gothic fonts on these tombstones lately, and it's definitely been helpful. Most definitely, you know, it's to go and practice a certain style. That's the way to go. Yeah, a lot of times people have like the reason why you have 47 guns because you don't really want to clean the last guns, which is cool, you know, but definitely, you know, like spend time cleaning out your guns. Iwata actually makes a maintenance kit. I'll show it to you later on, where you have, yeah, Mr. Alex Hansen, have 100 airbrushes, one that works. Iwata makes a maintenance kit, and the maintenance kit has like its own specialized tools that you can use to take apart your gun, service them, cleaning them out. It's actually what I use to service customers customers' airbrushes, and like even now we're actually having a lot of influx of people just sending in their guns to be cleaned. You can have them cleaned definitely, but I always encourage people to clean out your guns because it's I mean it's a good you're developing good gun habits definitely. But you know what? If you want to send in your gun to my work, Coast Airbrush, you can do that one. Just make sure you have all the information with you. Clean out your gun, no worries. The only thing though is that we only carry the major brands, Iwatas, Paches, Badgers, and the Vega 2000. Because we do carry different parts for them, replacement parts rather. So it's a lot of the times when I have like guns, like the master brands. Unfortunately, I don't carry replacement parts for the master brand. Okay. So what are we doing? We're doing now like the stylized font. So the stylized fonts, we can do stylized fonts are basically just a combination of script and a stylized font. So what I could do is I could do a name. Let's Bob. All right. So airbrushing the worky. White paper that your practice song is anything particular. These are called Pellon. Pellon is like what it is. It's a felt like product. You can get this at craft stores that come by the roll. We sell them at Coast Airbrush as well. We sell them in different sizes, which is a 14 by 14, 18 by 20, 14 by 18, and 18 by 22. It comes in 3 different thicknesses. One's a practice sheet, which is which is flimsy. There's a stencil sheet as well, where you can use it to cut your stencils with it, especially for fabric. They're also super heavyweight, so you can. So now, if you have a stencil, it's actually reusable. It works really well. We've been selling this for like the longest time, and this is what I first started with. And you can use paper towels, but then again, you know what? Paper towels right now, like gold, so don't really want to be using that. So what I'm doing is that, let's see, my brush is clogged here. Okay. So what I'm doing is that I'm combining both styles, which is the block and the script. Okay. That's my, I guess. Oh, wonky tube. Yeah, you could do paper roll, you know, craft paper roll as well. That's the way to go. Like, it's actually more inexpensive. Like I said, I like using these. It's just because that it's much more absorbent, you know. But if you don't have access to paper, if you don't have access to, Pelon, definitely like a roll, like, you know, craft paper is the way to go. You know, I like the feel of Pelon. It's just because that it's absorbent, but yeah, you can cut this on anything you want. Huh. Cool. And the thing is that with black is that you can do multiple things with black as well. So I'm just doing this with black. So a lot of times I like black. No frills black. This is a technique, I don't know if you can see it, but this is a technique that we use a lot when we were when airbrushing shirts. Like I said, Donna has this product called spatter caps. Best thing ever, you know. I usually use like popsicle stick. So what I do is like I kind of angle it sharp or narrow, depending on how I like my spatters, you know, or you know, so I can. I don't know if you can see it. I can actually get it closer or like parallel to it, or like close to like at a sharp angle. You know, so let's see here. Terry, how many options of colors do you offer bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs when the kids are crowding and can't wait for theirs? Less colors the better. You, as much as possible, you want to do, especially if you're doing bar mitzvahs or bat mitzvahs, a lot of the times, especially for kids, attention span really about 5 seconds or so. That color's pretty cool. So you get about you know, I mean, a lot of the times if it's during the day, you know, during the day or the night, it's definitely like brighter colors. You know, neon colors are the way to go, definitely, and your combination of like your black, your white, you know, your primary colors. So you do anywhere from about 6, maybe 10 colors. You know, and the good thing about it is that you can combine the colors, like especially opaques and transparents. You can combine them to get a different effect. Like, I don't know if you saw my last one where I got to just have 2 colors in there and then just fade it in. Yeah, it's a stylized font, so it's a combination of like a little bit of the block and a little bit of the script. Because it's just, especially for short words, you want to, I mean, especially this is just a 3-letter word or name rather, you want to grab as much attention as possible. So again, you can let's see here. And then oh, Bob, it's pink. Oh no. Let's give you the blue. See how, and this is like, I'm just fogging it on, right? But this is fluorescent blue. But it's fogged on really lightly. So now you have, you have like different colors in there. So it's just also how you apply your colors. It's just keep your color palette really simple. You can combine the colors later on to make other colors, definitely. Like I said, especially for bat mitzvahs or bar mitzvahs, you don't want to offer them a lot of choices, because now you're just going to be sitting there waiting for everybody to do your shirts, and then once they've decided, now you're piled up with you're inundated with orders. So keep it concise, keep it simple, definitely, but also offer. Again, this is kind of weird. It's like, keep it simple, but then offer the widest variety or a wider gamut. Maybe I generally do about 5 guys, and like 5 guys design and 5 girls design, and you can switch out the color from there. You can also go with like trends as well. A lot of times when like Pokemon was really popular, so you have a Pokemon character in there. You pick out like the most popular Pokemon character. But the issue, if you're if you're putting that out there, now they look for a certain character, which is like way beyond, like, it's much more complicated. It's like, oh, I want to level whatever. So you keep it simple. So you're fine. Just limit your color selection as well as your design selection. How to use stencils, how to clean stencils from Createx paint. Okay. Before, when we used to paint on shirts, we actually have like plastic material, which is made out of vinyl, placemat material rather, which is made out of vinyl, and that's what we used to use. And you could clean it out with Createx really, really well. But a lot of the times when you're dealing with stencils and stuff, especially when you're dealing with like a high volume, you have trouble, not have trouble, but like the last thing you want to do is clean out your stencils. The main thing, especially when you're dealing with shirts, is just have a bin so you can actually have your stencils right next to each other, so you can just like kind of like a folder thing. Main trick to that is, of course, don't put your wet stencils together, so they're gonna stick, but yeah, but a lot of times, setup for the t-shirts, a DIY thing, meaning easel. Well, the setup for the t-shirts, really, definitely, you definitely need an easel. Definitely you need a shirt board. This is actually a shirt board that I have. With the shirt board, for people who are doing it faster, definitely you have different sizes, a small, medium, and a large. You can actually have just a medium, where you can stretch out the board. It's just a matter of just kind of building as you go along. You don't really have to get to go all out on your first go, definitely. But yeah, but just build it incrementally. Get a nice sturdy easel, because the easel, you don't really want to be changing your easels a lot. Make sure that it's portable. This one actually is a really old easel. This is probably about 94, 95, so 20 somewhat years. Yeah, so it's a nice portable easel. It's a fold up easel. So you can, a lot of the times you can modify it as to where it actually has a tray, so you have the colors where like in front of you. A lot of people like that. Some people prefer that. Some people don't, because it's actually in their way. It's a matter of just how you customize your stuff and makes your work flow a lot easier. So get this done, you know. Those are the same eels that I have in painting class at art school. Yeah, these are, shoot. I forgot the brand of these. I believe they're Sear Lights. No, the Sear Lights is a thing. Stanlite aluminum easels. So they art supply. When I used to work at an art store, art supply warehouse, they carry these, and they come in a box, which is you can fold it up really well, and it folds up into pretty much this footprint, where you have about that thick, and then this like the legs fold up really quick. Of course, if you get an easel, you don't really want. I mean, you can get a wooden easel, but a wooden easel, it works really well a lot of the times. But at the same time, you know, there are people like it, but the footprint on it would be a little bit bigger. I specifically like these easels because it's a lower footprint. You can set it up really quick, and I've been using this for years. And when I used to go out and I just like set this up, of course you don't really mind like the paints and stuff, but at the same time I usually stop in the dark, so they don't really matter. You know, let's see here. Is there a soap thing? Soap and water. Soak them for a day, then sponge them off gently. Yep. Yeah, the wooden ones, like, they work really well. I actually have a wooden easel here, but it's not really, I mean, now, it's a convertible easel, which is like a tabletop. It converts into a table and it converts into an upright easel, and that's what I use for my fine art painting. But for my shirt painting, this is what I use. It's dandy, you know. Okay, let's see. So that's what we have for our stylized block. Okay. Any questions at all? Michael's has wooden easels, definitely. Art Supply Warehouse here in Westminster. Shout out to them. I've been I work for them. Like I work at that store for like the longest time. That's where I actually learned my arts degree. I learned a lot from them. They have different easels in stock. A lot of the times. All right, so got the stylized. So we're going for, let's see, grunge. Do we have time? Are we good with time? Okay. So let's see here. How are we for time? All right. Let's. All right. Okay. I think we're good. Sweet. All right. Get this. Okay, so now we're done with the block, and we're done with the stylized, and we're done with the script. So a lot of the times as well is that you can go for the grunge. The grunge is just these slashes and dagger strokes and stuff, and you I mean, it could be like as messy as you want, but the cool thing about it is that you can actually shade it and highlight it to where it looks pretty. And actually, okay, let's do this. All right. Thank you so much for the questions there. Let's see here. Don't have a Michael's here in Oahu. Oh, I'm sorry, Candace. In Hawaii, aloha. I used to live on a big island, you know, on the Hilo side. And we used to go to Oahu visit friends over there. Very cool place. We're actually supposed to go last June, or not June, Jesus. Sorry. For when was this? For my birthday. For Easter. Yeah. Okay. So grunge. So grunge is and this is like like doesn't have like a particular style to it. What it is, it's just a lot of dagger strokes in there. All right. Don't worry about that. Here. So that's your grunge. It's what it is, like paint spatters. You can also incorporate stencils in there as well. I actually have these. So now, if we're incorporating stencils, it can be a freehand template in here. And the cool thing with the stencils is that you can move it around, to kind of give it like varying effects in there. Have any t-shirt supplier? The t-shirt supplier, there's a couple of places actually in Southern California. There's a t-shirt store. They have these like pins. They sell them for like $4 or $5 or so. And if you get multiple quantities of them, you can go. It goes cheaper. See how I'm doing this? It's just again, this is all black, and I'm not doing the entire stencils. I'm just doing bits and pieces of it. So what I can do is I can have more design choices. So again, this is just black. I'm just going really light or really heavy on like this part of the stencils. So it's actually moving the paint this way. it kind of offers, it just covers a little bit more, oops, sorry, it covers a little bit more variety under the stencil itself. And then you can go down closer to the font if you like. Now, so have that, and of course, a lot of the times people like some color in it. So just put some color in it. It's fine. Let's see here. So to clean out my gun. Candice Aloha. Hope Hawaii is treating you well, or Hawaii is treating you well. You know, they have a big lockdown, serious lockdown over there. And again, I'm just like fogging it on. Just getting some variety to it. Color here. I'm a newbie. What airbrush ink and paint do you use for t-shirts? Greetings there, Cindy. In this particular demo, we're using Createx Wicked colors and the Createx regular airbrush colors. All right, it's great for our fabrics. It's a good. They have a really wide range of colors. And it's specifically made for fabrics. The Createx, regular Createx are more oftentimes than not. If you're painting on non-porous surfaces, it tends to become a little tacky. So if you want a general purpose paint, definitely the Wicked colors work really well because of the fact that it's like the resins that's inside it. Here. Yeah, it's weird that I'm like Matsumoto shave ice, yes. That and the poke. That's they have poke here in California. I don't know, they have it over in other states, but the poke in California, you know what it is? It's kind of a deconstructed, kind of a sushi dish. You know, poke. If you've never had poke before. Ugh. Amazing. Yeah. Every time I go to Hawaii, poke bowl. You know, go to like KTA, get a poke bowl over there. Like on the Big Island, we actually have like soy-san there. Do you add the reducer into the paint? Generally, these are ready to go, airbrush ready colors. If you need to add reducer, then definitely add the 4012 for this brand only, for Createx brand. If it does, you know, I mean, if it's a little bit on the thick side, you can reduce it, definitely. But generally, they're ready to go. If you find that it's thicker, especially if you're mixing it in a cup, reduce it a little bit, and you should be fine. Let's see here. Again, we're back to the highlighting. The highlighting on this is a little bit more prominent, because it's a little bit thinner. Oh. Is it bubbling? I hear bubbling in my peach. More often than not. Here. Second. Use the same paints. No, you do not use the same PSI with the faces for t-shirts, because number one, it's way too strong. So now, if you go like this, and see, I just do like that. But yeah. So you don't really want to go 45 on the skin, because even at 45 on the skin, I don't know if you can see it. You know, it kind of moves the skin around. Okay. So that's what 45 psi does to your skin. Okay. So don't really want to be doing that. You know. Right paint, right application, right place, right pressure. So you want to keep it within within tolerable levels, especially for face paint, especially for kids, because you know those kids they flinch. Okay. So let's see here. Thanks a lot, Josie Jose. So looking forward to your class, and then I'm looking forward to everybody's classes. So you know, it's a really good way to learn. I mean, again, I can't thank Donna enough for letting us having an avenue for us to learn. You know, and with everything that's happening at the moment, I know that, you know, in all seriousness, people are very unsure about like where the income is going to come from. I find that, you know what, develop your skills. You are going to find you're going to be creative and how you do things. And definitely if you used to body paint before, because of the contact and everything, what Michael Green was saying, you know, a contactless application with an airbrush, the way to go. You know, it kind of evolved from that, and the only thing that you need to do is clean out your stencils, your body stencils later on. So, do you worry about breathing the overspray and particulates? Yes. Essentially, I actually don't wear a mask. It's just because of the fact that I'm teaching class at the moment. However, when you are spraying these, essentially they're not really they're AP non-toxic. However, it's good to have a particulate mask. It's just because that you're atomizing paint, you know. So it's one of those things where, you know, after a gig, try blowing your nose and see what goes in there. So you want to, you know, yeah. Best part of the overspray is cleaning out your nostrils. Sorry, Donna. I'm on the phone. All right. Sorry. What are we at now? Okay. We should stop there. Okay. And let's see here. How are we doing with time? All right, I've got 15 more minutes. So good. Cool. Oh, wait a minute. All right. I think we're over. Really. Sorry. All right. Yeah. We're over. Sorry. Really quick. Dang it. I didn't know it was like. Really quick. I know that you guys like doing the, wanted to show the Old English or the graffiti, but I always tell people, sketch them out, okay? Really quick. I know. Let's see here. So what I have here is, I don't know if you can see it, you could like sketch it out. So sketch them out with pencil, you know? Once you sketch them out with pencil, you can go over it. Really quick. Let me just get this thing real quick. And over. Really quick, because everybody wants to see this graffiti thing. I'm not going to color it in because we're out of time. Where did time go? All right. So, okay. So much. All right. Let's add some color in there, and we're done. Okay. Kind of got. Usually for the graffiti, then you can add colors and stuff in there. Cool thing about with graffiti is it doesn't have to be neat, you know. It's actually meant for it to be sprayed really quick, really fast. You know. And yeah. Okay. One last thing, the white. Again, thank you so much for everybody who tuned in. If you guys have any more questions, I'll make sure to look back at the comments and answer them personally. My name is Sig. And I work at Coast Airbrush part-time. So if you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to give me a call. All right, so that's it. Thank you so much for tuning again. Thank you so much for thank you so much for Donna for the ProAiir University, also Createx and Iwata's for making a great product. Again, if you guys have any questions, go ahead. Like, please don't hesitate to post it on the comments. I'll make sure to go back and read it and answer it as best as I can. All right. So hopefully you guys have a good day. Be safe. Be well. Love you guys. Thank you.